Without this artist, we might not have John Mayer, we might not have Adele. Bands like Coldplay, Radiohead, Incubus. He was on track to be one of the biggest acts of the 90s. And then he drowned in the Mississippi River. He's the son of this folk singer-songwriter from the 60s and 70s, Tim Buckley, who he basically had no relationship with and says that he met like one time. Jeff Buckley grows up in California and he works as a session guitarist in LA for like a decade. And then he moves to New York and starts trying to get his solo career off the ground. He's playing at these like small clubs in the East Village, and eventually Columbia Records finds him and gives him a massive deal to record his first album, Grace. And Grace goes on to be widely regarded as like this phenomenal album. He was very influenced by Led Zeppelin, and Robert Plant literally said it was his favorite album of the decade. So it's like off the bat, like Buckley is going places. Like Columbia is super pumped about him. He goes on tour, the tour does well. His career is very quickly taking off. And then he goes and he starts to record his second album in Memphis. And this is like, Grace is recorded in 1994, or Grace is released in 1994, and then he's done touring by 96, goes to Memphis where he's working on his second album, which was tentatively called My Sweetheart the Drunk. And he's back to kind of like just working out material. He's playing in clubs in Memphis. And then one night in 1997, he is working on material in the studio, and him and this other dude, like a roadie from, I think it's a roadie from the band, they go down to the shore of the Mississippi River, and Buckley goes for a swim, and he's famously singing Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin. And the roadie is like looking away for a minute and then looks back, and Buckley's gone. And there's like search teams the whole night. They try to find him and they never find him. And he drowned in the Mississippi River before he finished that album. And they end up releasing that album, which you can stream it. It's really, really good. And the first song that I ever heard from Jeff Buckley was from that album, My Sweetheart the Drunk. It's called Everybody Here Wants You. And I was in Melissa Ferrick's songwriting class at Berkeley. Melissa Ferrick is this awesome indie singer-songwriter who was a professor at the time. She might still be, but she played Everybody Here Wants You from that album, My Sweetheart the Drunk. And it just totally floored me. I had never heard Jeff Buckley, as far as I know. I might have heard his cover of Hallelujah, of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, which is a super famous cover of his, and just, I mean, he just absolutely destroys it. But yeah, that song, Everybody Here Wants You, was my introduction to Buckley. But the song that I've been listening to this week from Jeff Buckley is, I guess really it's a whole album, the Live at Chennai album, which is the first album he ever released. And it's this collection of live recordings of him playing at this super small coffee shop in New York City called Chennai, where he had a Monday night residency. And this album is just like, it's unbelievable. It's one of my favorite albums, and I went to it because he does such a great job of performing solo with his electric guitar, which is kind of unique. Like you mostly hear of songwriters playing solo with acoustic, like John Mayer's solo tour, it's him and an acoustic guitar. But Buckley has this way of like filling out a song in a live setting with an electric guitar that is really hard to do. I played a show this past week and it was just me and a guitar, and I used an electric guitar, and so I was going back to it to just like tap into that sound and that feel. And so yeah, I mean, the album is absolutely incredible. Again, it's all him with an electric guitar, and he's just singing. And it's great because there's this like crowd interaction that he does during it, and he does a bunch of interesting covers. He covers Bob Dylan, and he's like, you can tell he has like a good. It's like his friends. It's just him and his friends at this coffee shop, and he's like they're like distilling down this time period of him in this bar scene in New York when he was just like up and coming and kind of gaining traction and building a fan base. And the thing about Buckley that like a lot of artists talk about is just his voice is just incredible. Like there's a million quotes online of artists talking about how incredible Buckley's voice is. And he just like hits these crazy notes. He's like, it's like kind of like operatic, but just like pure. He's got this super pure voice. And yeah, he talks about some of the songs that he wrote, like about dreams. Some of my favorites are, my number one, maybe I Shall Be Released, his cover of Bob Dylan's song, I Shall Be Released. The song right after that, Sweet Thing, is really good. The first song is like a cover kind of introduction song, but then the next song is Lover You Should Have Come Over, which is from his album Grace, which is unbelievable. And I mean, really the whole thing is incredible. His cover of Bob Dylan's Buckets of Rain is really good. So I can't recommend it enough. I think it's one of those albums that you can put on and just like do anything. It's like good background music, but it's also really, really good to listen intently. And every time I listen to it, I find something different. And it like something hits me in a new way, or I'm like, I don't remember listening to this at all. It's pretty long. It's like, how many songs is it? It's 34 songs, and some of those are like monologues or him talking. But yeah, what else do I want to say about Jeff Buckley? I guess that's it. I mean, I think definitely listen to Everybody Here Wants You, and then the first album, Live at Chennai, and then Grace is good. I think Live at Chennai is a good introduction, and there's a lot of great live performances of him on YouTube. His live performance of Hallelujah is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, listening to Jeff Buckley a lot this week. Another song I listened to this week is Shapeless Burst by This Will Destroy You. I was trying to think of the first time I heard This Will Destroy You. They're kind of this like instrumental progressive rock band, I guess you could call them. It's very similar to Explosions in the Sky, if you've ever listened to them, or Sigur Rós. Like, it's instrumental music. But it probably the first time I heard them was in Moneyball. Their song The Mighty Rio Grande is in Moneyball, which is the movie with Brad Pitt. It's based on the book by Michael Lewis. Really good book. Amazing movie. Brad Pitt does well. He's nominated for an Oscar for that performance. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's the type of music that it's very emotional, and I think I was listening to it because I was a little bit like overstimulated this week, maybe. And that music kind of helps me like cool out and drop into this like level of focus. It's kind of similar, like I do a similar thing with jazz music where it's like when it's like I need something, and I saw that This Will Destroy You released a new song, and I clicked on it, and I don't know, it gives me like a feeling of relief almost for some reason. I went through a period earlier this year where I was listening to the Mighty Rio Grande album again. What is that album called? It's called S/T. I want to say I heard it before Moneyball, but I don't know. I could be making that up. But yeah, S/T. Amazing album. It's this kind of like, there's like these electronic elements with the drums. Like the drums are like super techy is kind of the best way I can describe it. But the guitar riff in the Mighty Rio Grande is like just otherworldly. Like it's really good. And again, it's like their music is like a sigh of relief, and there's a lot of like building, like on S&T, there's a lot of like kind of heavy parts to that, where they build it up a lot. But again, even that, it's like cathartic, I think, for me at least. Yeah, so This Will Destroy You, Shapeless Burst was another song that I listened to this week. And then I've been in a bit of like a soul kick. Like I was listening to Little James Brown, but then I started listening to Mavis Staples, which Mavis Staples famously shuts Bob Dylan down. after he asks her to marry him in the 60s when he first meets her. Because apparently he was a huge fan before he even moved to New York. Like I think he was listening to her on the radio and got obsessed with her and met her in New York. And she's like, I don't want to marry you. And apparently he even asked her dad to marry her. But anyways, I was listening to her album Only for the Lonely, which I love the artwork of this album. It's like her eye and there's like a tear, like a close-up shot of her eye and a tear running down her face. So it's like perfectly like Only for the Lonely. First song, I've Learned to Do Without You. So it's like a perfect breakup album. But it's very soul, very like, kind of has like gospel overtones to it. But I don't know, it feels kind of rich and very like authentic, I guess is a good way to describe it. Which honestly, I had never really listened to Mavis Staples, so I'm excited to listen to more of her stuff. But I really like that song, I've Learned to Do Without You. And then just the whole album is really good. And I love that thing about her turning down Bob Dylan, which I think is hilarious. And the last song I was listening to this week is this song You're a Star by Fred Again and Amyl and the Sniffers, which, if you don't know Fred Again, if you haven't seen Fred Again's Boiler Room performance, it's really good. It's DJ, like he's a DJ, but he famously is mentored by Brian Eno, which I'm definitely going to do something on Brian Eno soon because over the last couple of years I've gotten really into Brian Eno. I want to do a really deep dive on Brian Eno, like one of the longer videos, but Fred Again has this kind of like euphoric, like it brings in the droning ambient sounds that Brian Eno is famous for. I really liked his Actual Life albums. There's like, I think there's 3 of those, and I found out about his stuff probably 2022ish, maybe 23. Around the time of the Boiler Room video that went super viral. He announced recently that his new album, USB, is coming out soon. And then I saw this week that he released a song with this band, Amyl and the Sniffers, which is like this super gritty punk rock band who I think is going to be super huge. I mean, they already are big, but like Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins was on Zane Lowe, and he was like, they're the next... She's the next Iggy Pop, the lead singer of that band. And so just like, which is super high praise from Smashing Pumpkins lead singer. You know, he like basically invented an entire genre by himself. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, definitely gonna listen to this. And I really like it. It's again, DJ kind of like, it's DJ music. It's kind of got a house vibe, but I just love the way that he incorporates the ambient stuff that he took from Brian Eno, which is really interesting. And the song itself is really interesting. Like, there's basically just like one kind of vocal loop that he uses from Amyl and the Sniffers lead singer. What is her name? Amyl and the Sniffers. Amy Taylor. So he uses this loop from Amy Taylor and kind of just incorporates it throughout the song. But yeah, it's super good. I really like it. And Fred Again stuff is good. Actual Life is good. What songs would I recommend from Actual Life? There's like 3 of those albums. I mean, the red one was the first one, so maybe start with the red one if you haven't listened to him. I Found You. The Kyle I Found You song is really good. And that project is really interesting because it's like he's taking videos and voice memos from people in his actual life and integrating them into the songs, which I think is obviously a cool idea. So he's kind of carving out this interesting niche in the DJ world that I think is cool. Honestly, this week I've been kind of tired, like a little bit low energy. And so a lot of this music I was trying to find things to listen to that were soothing and like kind of uplifting, which the Mavis Staples stuff is, even though it's like heartbreak music, it's like soul music, so it's kind of like guttural music. And then This Will Destroy You is like soothing music to me, that song specifically. The Fred Again song is just like, I just think it's cool because I like Fred Again. And then yeah, Jeff Buckley, I'll never not listen to that album. Like, it's something that I go back to at least once a year. for at least a week at a time. And yeah, Sweet Thing. Listen to Sweet Thing by Jeff Buckley live at Chennai, and yeah, it'll blow you away.